There's an organization in the United States. It's called the Southern Poverty Law Center. The Southern Poverty Law Center used to be a great organization that worked against racism in the United States, and they went after organizations like the Ku Klux Klan and the Aryan Nations that were really nasty, hateful groups of people. And they built this reputation as champions of civil rights against hate groups. Well, in the United States, things have changed a lot. There aren't that many racists anymore. And so they had, and they became an enormous fundraising organization based on these themes. So they had to find a new group to be able to go after. And now they're going after Christian groups who are against homosexuality, saying that being against homosexuality is the same as being against somebody on the basis of race. Right? And they define my group as a hate group, and they define me as a hate monger the same as a racist. Right? And now this is a terrible thing, especially in America, where everyone is hypersensitive to all of these things. To be called this, and to be called it by the organization that has the highest stature in the whole country, that's terrible. So I went on their website, I went to this organization, I tried to get them to stop. Don't do this. I'm a Christian, I'm not against people on any basis but the things that I say, and they're not hateful. I don't hate anybody, I don't want violence against them, right? And so I made that approach. I went on their website, this is a legal organization. In the law, the definitions of words mean everything, right? You can't have a law. You can't impose a law on people without telling them what they have to do. You put a speeding limit up there, but that you don't define what the number is. Say there's a speeding limit in this zone. We're not going to tell you that it's 25 miles an hour. We're going to wait until you pass it, then we're going to arrest you, right? You can't do that. The law has to be accurately defined. But on their site, there's no definition of hate. There's no definition of hate. How can you do that? Because you do it because you want the ambiguity, the freedom to be able to point the finger, and so that people will think they know what you're talking about when you actually mean something else. And so that you can't be held to the same standard yourself. Right? What is hate? Hate is an intense dislike or hostility. Right? An intense dislike or hostility. Now, based on that definition, are the people that are accusing me of being a homophobe, who are telling lies about me, and who are saying I'm a terrible person, do they have an intense dislike or hostility toward me? Of course they do. By their own definition, they are haters. So then if you actually put that forward, and people were actually asking these definitions, then you would have to look and say, well, everybody hates somebody or something or whatever, and yet, no, that's not good. But it certainly doesn't rise to the level of bringing all the resources that you have to try to stop them in what they think, right? So then you have to sort of put a level of grades. What do you mean by a hater? Do you mean a hater who's someone who's going out and injuring people because he hates? Or are you just talking about somebody that's just grumpy? That just doesn't like people just because he's, maybe he's just a grumpy person. Didn't have a good breakfast this morning, and his blood sugar is off. That's the kind of thing that you're able to then talk about when you define the terms.